today we're going to paint a little mason jar with some flowers coming out of it, and then we have some moss to put in there too. So basically, I'm going to put the flowers aside, and I'm going to start painting my wood pieces. Get all that moss off. I'm going to paint my little mason jar first, and I am just going to, you could use whatever colors you want. I am going to paint this light blue, and then I'm going to make my background brown, and then I'm going to put some green like stems to go behind the flowers, and then I'll add some of this moss and the flowers with glue. So I'm going to start by using a little mason jar. I'm going to make a little light blue, so I'm going to take some blue and some white and mix it together. And all this wood stuff will probably need 2 coats, so I'm just going to make that light blue. I'm going to make the top of it a little lighter. I'm going to add once I'm finished with that mason jar, I'm going to put it aside. I might have to put a second coat on that. I'm going to wash and dry my brush. I always have paper towels and water off to the side. So I'm going to paint this wood piece, but I'm actually going to stain it. So I'm going to paint it, and then I have a paper towel to the side that I'm just going to wipe the paint off, and it's going to give it like a little stained look. So I'm going to go up and down with my brown. I'm going to paint about half of it and then wipe it. So you see like wood grain come out. A second here. And wipe it. So now I'm going to go back, put a second coat on my jar, and then we'll meet back and add some greens. While my mason jar is drying and the background is drying, I'm going to make a little blue, a little green. So I'm just going to use the cap to my yellow. And I'm just going to add a little bit of blue into that. Keep on adding little bits of blue until you get the green that you want. I'm going to make it a little darker. If you want it like a hunter green, you could even add a little black, a little of the brown to it. We'll add a little brown to it. If you want to make it really light, you could add some white to it, more yellow. I think that's pretty good for me. So I'm going to use this brown to make some leaves. So my mason jar is still a little wet, but I'm going to put it kind of where I'm placing, where I'm going to place it. So I'm going to put it a little towards the bottom, and then I'm just going to put some green stems coming out. And once I have like the furthest two stems, I'm just going to take that away, and then I'm just going to fill it in with some green. Our flowers are pretty big, so it almost looks like a pineapple top I'm going to make. I might add a little more yellow into that. If you want to make things more interesting, put more color and different shades of colors on top of each other. You can even take a little white. Move looks good. So I'm going to let this dry for a bit, and then we'll come back, add our flowers and our moss with some glue. The glue you need, any like Elmer's will work, any white glue. All right, so I'm going to pack up my paints, and we'll meet back when everything's a little dry. So now that everything's dry, I'm going to start to glue. I'm using like just a wood glue, a craft glue, any white Elmer's, even school glue will work. So I am going to basically put some glue on the back of my mason jar. I am going to glue that right where those greens end. Then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to make a little pile of glue. I have a piece of paper down, and I'm going to dip my flowers and my moss in the glue and then put it down. I'm going to glue some moss down first. So like right at the, I'm just going to dip it in glue, put it down. I'm going to put some down here, put some down here, and put some here, leaving some to the side. So then I just expanded my like greens area. So then I'm going to I'm just going to place my flowers right now. So these are Zola flowers, which are made from tapioca root. So you can paint them. Actually, you could give them a little color at the ends. All you have to do is take a little of that like craft paint that I gave you and just water it down a little bit, so it almost becomes like a watercolor consistency, and then you could put it down. Then you could glue it then you could paint it really easily. Try and find the way which is best. Now my flowers are kind of big, so I'm not going to see that much of my green behind, but at least I see, if I just use 2 flowers. Maybe I'll just use 2 flowers for today. You could just like arrange it however you'd like. So ready, I'm going to take this 1 flower, dip it in. The more glue, the better on this. I usually say less is more, but this one you could do a little more. Some of the flowers have like almost like stems at the end like this. If you want to take a scissor and cut it just a little bit, sometimes it's easier to glue. So I'm dipping that in glue and putting it down. Let's see if we could get that big one up there now. I'm gonna put some more glue. So this big one, some of the leaves got crushed. I kind of want to make it smaller, so I'm going to take some of those leaves off. That's all you have to do, really. It's like perfect right there. So I'm going to dip this in glue and put it down there. Then I'm going to take my moss. I don't want to see the edges of that flower on the side, so I'm going to take some moss, dip it in glue, stick it in there. Now we don't see too much of my green. I kind of wish I made my green taller, but that's all right. We have that moss. So there we have our little bouquet. You could also put any other details in paint that you'd like. You could use all your moss or you cannot, doesn't matter. It's your own little art project. Now this will need to glue for a good like 30 minutes and then it should be nice and be able to be a little stood up for a little spring decoration. All right, I hope you have a good time. See you soon.